10,000 hours is the commonly believed amount of hours, time, that you need to put in to a skill to become a master at it. And to be a master at something doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best. It probably just means that you're in the top 1%. So if you worked on this skill/activity for 24 hours a day, constantly, permanently, presume you don't have to sleep, eat, make money, or anything, and you just dedicated all of your time, 24 hours a day, to this skill, it would still take you 417 days to become a master at it. As in, it would still take you a year and a little bit, like closer to a year and a half, to become a master at something if you did nothing but that something. Do you realize the ungodly time sink that is? So I'm glad we cleared that up immediately. You have to be insane to succeed. What if you don't care so much about being a master at something? You don't care about being the 1%. You can settle. Less rewards, yeah, but also less effort. You're still going to have to put insane amounts of effort in. And let's be real, you're not going to spend 24 hours a day on this skill. Obviously, you have other things to do, especially more so if you're young. If you're younger and you have other responsibilities like school, clubs, dealing with chores at home, then of course you're not going to be able to do that. So let's round down and say you spend about 2 hours a day practicing the skill, which would then average out to be about 712 hours a year that you're dedicating to this skill. It would still take you, rounded, 14 years. 14 years of doing this thing to become a master at it. But again, like I said earlier, maybe you don't want to be a master. You can be fine. You can be chilling. Maybe you can spend half that, 7 years instead of 14 years to become half as good. You realize that the people that aren't the best are others that wanted to be the best, but failed. They failed at becoming the best. And so they had to settle for what they ended up with. So what makes you think that you, with your haphazard attitude, can compete with someone that is trying to be the best? Because the fact is, there can only be one person at the top. But if everyone tries to be at the top, some of these people are going to fail, and the ones that fail are going to take up the other spots. And how do you think, with your mentality of, I just got to be good enough, are supposed to compete with people that want to be the best? Some are going to fail, and the ones that fail are going to take your spot. But how do you think you can compete with them? When wars were a prominent thing, constantly happening all around you, and not just in a secluded part of the world like it is now. When war was present and rampant in the entirety of the world, everything was a matter of life and death. It was life and death. You took everything seriously because everything was serious. If you didn't clean your hands before you ate, maybe you got a sickness, a virus, and you would die. You would straight up die because there's no water to drink. And so if you were dehydrated and then got diarrhea, you would die of diarrhea. You would die. I want you to realize that now, even though living a default, comfortable life is easy, the matter of life and death is still present nowadays. It's just that now there's a third option, which is what, sadly, most people are gravitating towards, and that's living in a vegetative state. You are not living your life. You're watching other people's lives through your phone screens, through your computer. You're living in virtual worlds as your virtual self in video games. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're watching your life fade. You're not really living, and you never will really have ended up existing because you never did anything. You never did anything. You never tried anything. You never took anything seriously. So it's as if you didn't even exist. Get that settling shit out of your goddamn head. This isn't a spectrum of quirkiness. It's a matter of life and death. If you're young, then know this. You're treading between living a life, if you put the effort in, if you put the hours in to try to be good at something, and living in a vegetative state, or even death in some cases. Even death. It's just that you don't want to think about that. You don't want to think, I'm never gonna end up being homeless. I can just work at McDonald's. But what if you don't have money a month to pay rent? You get kicked out by your landlord. And when you go apply for a job, you stink. And so they don't get back to you. You're now homeless. It's that easy. It's a fine line. You need to start taking things seriously and putting effort in, because you're not gonna compete with everyone else that is. How many times do people need to tell you that you need to lock in and try harder and not take breaks? And you still do. The people that try hard and fail are the ones that are going to get to live anyway. They tried hard and they failed, but they still get to live. You, meanwhile, on the other hand, if you don't try, are going to die. Think about that. Like actually close your eyes and visualize you being homeless. Could you? And I'm not just talking of like ending up homeless and then, staying there. Because ideally you want to get out. If you were homeless, could you stop being homeless? Could you like get your life together again? Could you? Try some more in your life. Try harder. Let's get this into our head. Life is only as serious as you make it. And I sure as hell don't want to live in a vegetative state or die because I end up broke and like generally broke and poor. I don't want to be part of the rat race. I don't. So in the end, I leave you with this message. You need to get being normal. What most people believe, what most people are, what most people do, out of your head. Normal is the enemy. You don't want to kind of try. You want to try. Fully aware that maybe you're not going to make it, but don't go in with intentions of not making it. You always go in with intentions of making it. And then if you don't, you get rewarded anyway. You still get to live. You have to be insane to succeed, not normal. Really ask yourself, are you failing because you don't try? Or are you not trying because you think you'll fail? And then after you have, make your decision, take action. Subscribe. I'm a small creator, but one day I'll make it big. See you in the next one. Bye.